Hi guys, so I wanted to really quickly make a video to explain the Glass Castle project again, just in case. I know I've explained it in class several times, but just in case you're at home or you're working on it over the weekend, as you should be, then you might want to view this video and see if I answer any questions that you have, and of course you can always email me or ask me on Schoology as well. So let's just go into the Glass Castle. Of course, I'm in 9th honors first period, but no matter what honors class you're in, for 9th grade, it's going to be in the exact same spot. So Glass Castle folder, research project folder, okay? And then you have all of the things that we've done so far. So you have submit your research infographic here, you have your infographic project check-in, and you have your infographic project check-in for today's date, which is November 14th. If you click on the submit your research infographic here, you will see that these are the directions for this project. It will open up the Google Doc, so we're just going to go through that. Basically, you're creating an infographic. Infographics are used to really quickly display important and pertinent information that you have, and that information is going to come from the research that you find. And the research that you find is going to be over these two topics right here. You can pick any two, or like I said, you could, if you were interested in another one, you could just run it by me and you could probably do those if I don't have something here that you want to do. So you're going to pick two of those, and you're going to consider these questions to guide your efforts, perhaps. Now, like I say, this is by no means an exhaustive list of the possible questions you might consider, but it could be a place to start because these questions help you sort of synthesize the information that you're finding. So, for example, what are the causes of these issues? If you look at alcoholism and child abuse, one might find that people who are alcoholics or who exhibit alcoholism later on in their lives were abused as children, so we can synthesize that information there. You also might find that people who are alcoholics may abuse their children more, so that once again we're synthesizing the information from both topics in this one question. So that's what these questions are intended to help you do, to help you think about and consider the ways your two topics up here relate to each other, so that you can create your sections based on that in your infographic. Your infographic will have 6 sections, okay, and you can see all of this down here. Your infographic will have a title, right? It'll have 6 organized, cohesive sections, which look at different parts or answer different questions related to the issues you chose to research. Now, in class, I talked about maybe you want to use these questions, like I said, to guide your efforts and to create your section. So you might have a section that's just causes. You might have a section of where these issues occur. You might have a section about the people or places who are more likely to experience these issues than others and talk about why that might be. You might have a section which just discusses the consequences of those issues. Up to you, the sections that you have, but you need to have 6 organized, cohesive sections which discuss these topics and synthesize the information that you find on them, okay? You need to have at least 5 visuals which relate to the issues you chose and organize the info effectively. So visuals could be anything from maybe you have an equation type of thing going on. So you have child abuse plus domestic abuse equals blah. Maybe you have that, and that's how you display your consequences of those things. You might just have pictures that use different or talk about different emotions or show people feeling different emotions that they're feeling. You might have images of, you might put some graphs in your infographic. That would be an option. Really up to you with the visuals, but you do need at least 5. You need 1 section of personal impact, okay? 1 section which showcases evidence from the text which supports your issue. Some of you have said, well, can I integrate this section elsewhere? Sure, as long as you include the evidence from the text that I need, which is 3 pieces per issue, 3 pieces of evidence that prove per topic. So you have 3 pieces of evidence that talk about child abuse and 3 pieces of evidence that talk about alcoholism. That's fine, as long as they're in there somewhere. But you do need 6 pieces of evidence from the text, 3 on each topic that you choose. You do need 1 section of personal impact, which is about, it could be about how this project has affected you. Maybe you didn't realize that these were such huge issues. For me, an example of the personal impact that I felt was I realized as a child, how much I had taken for granted and how not everybody had the same childhood that I did. And when I thought back on that, it made me feel more compassionate. It made me be more empathetic and sympathetic. And it made me want to help people more. So maybe that's your personal impact. I don't know. How did this research or this text impact you personally? Okay. Then you need one works cited page. We went over the works cited page. I think I have on my to-do list to create a video about that, but this is something that we went over in class as well, and you should have those quick guides. So, and I'll make sure to put that on Schoology too. So you do need a works cited page. You need at least 3 scholarly sources per issue. This is something that I was just trying to do to make it easier on you. So you have 2 issues or topics, and you need 6 sources total, okay? Let's say that all 6 of your sources talk about both of your topics together. That's fine, as long as you have 6 then. I gave you per issue just in case you couldn't find sources that talked about both of your topics together. Okay, so it just said 3 per issue, and I like to do 3 because that helps verify the information that we find in the first source, and it gives us a chance to make sure that the evidence that we find is real and it's reputable and all of those things. Okay, polishing conventions, proofread your infographic. The size and the fonts of the text is complementary and doesn't detract from the accessibility of the document. So if you have texts on there that is like and I can't read it, that's a problem. If you have text on there that is so huge it takes up the entire page, also a problem. But do utilize these things to think about where you want to emphasize information. So, for example, if you look at these here, you see that obesity is larger than in infants to preschoolers. You see that 1 in 3 children are overweight or obese is larger than these other 2 sections, okay? You see that risk factors is larger than these. So do consider some ways that you can section things off as well. I went over this in class, but I also want to clarify for those of you who are still wondering about sections, what they might look like, what they could be. So this infographic, I believe, has 10 sections, so we'll go through and we'll find those. This is the title that you're supposed to have. This is the first section, and we know it's one section because it's separate from this and from this by this little line here. This is another section, okay? Then we have this section, this section, this section, this section, this section, this, and they're separated by these little boxes as well as these little dotted lines. They can also be separated by maybe you put overlay text on images, and that could be its own little section. So get creative. Think about things like that. This project is meant to assess your ability to synthesize information and also to find what's most important and most pertinent about a couple of topics. Like I said, it's difficult and it's an honors assignment because it's so easy to write about every single thing that you find, but what's really hard is to find the most important stuff and just pick that out, right, to put on your infographic. Alrighty. I went over in class some ways that I might get started on this, and so I'm going to, going to do that here as well. So I wrote 6 boxes on the board because I know I need at least 6, right? That's in your rubric right here. I know I need at least 6 sections for my 2 issues, okay? But then I also know I need a section of personal impact, all right, and a section which showcases evidence. So I created those over there. Then I labeled them accordingly, the personal impact and the evidence section. Then I went through and I looked at these questions just for some ideas, and that's how I came up with the labels for my other sections over here in the boxes. Then after I did that, I would start researching in order to find, and I would have, you know, I would have some blinders on. Like I wouldn't just be pulling every single thing. I would be looking for things that specifically fit into these boxes because those are my boxes and those are the sections that I want to talk about, if that makes sense. That's one way to go about this project, but honestly, you can go about it any way that works for you as long as You have these required parts, works cited page, evidence from the text, and your information is organized. You utilize various colors, shapes, sizes, etc., etc., etc. Okay, I hope that this was helpful for you guys as a video, and you know now where to find it, you know now where to submit it, you know how to get to the folder for your research project in the Glass Castle. So let me know if you have any questions via email or Schoology or in the classroom. I'll see you later. Bye.